Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you all for the support on Instagram. I'm not going to go over in detail why we'll be delaying the Sports Watch campaign. I'm going to link a link to our statement, to our Instagram in the description. Whether you have Instagram or not, you will be able to go on there and read it. But like I said on there, we feel good about it, and it's something that we're happy with. So this week's video is going to be more centered on the watch industry. The sports watches, Jeremy's almost done with them. They will be here soon. Things are still not super reliable when it comes to international shipping times, but they will get here. We will be showing them off. In the meantime, I'm going to throw up some video of the samples. We do have some of the finishing. Like I said, it turned out really well, and we think you all will be very happy with it. So this week's video is going to be going over movements. So throughout this video, I'm going to be throwing up images of two movements. There's going to be the gold movement is a Swiss movement. And what's that one called?
That's 6497. That's the Unitas movement.
Okay. And it's on a pocket watch. Really beautiful movement. And the second movement I'll be throwing up is a silver movement, and that one is called?
It's a Seagull movement, 3600.
Okay. And the differences in construction are how extensive?
Well, it's a reverse engineered movement, which I think certain companies are pretty good at doing. So Seagull, they reverse engineered the Unitas movement, which was probably and still is for sure the leading movement for pocket watches. The finishing that you see on the movement is a very high quality within the Seagull movement. So Seagull as well as the ETA movement have similar finishing qualities that are they're impressive to look at. However, once you look at the reliability of the movement, as well as after-sale service, it becomes a rather big challenge to work with the Seagull movement. And I must say, from a price point, it's phenomenal what they were able to achieve with that Seagull movement versus the Unitas. The Unitas movement probably has a retail cost of somewhere around 200 Swiss francs, and the Seagull movement is about 25 Swiss francs in cost. But from the looks of that, it's very difficult to differentiate where, why, and how are those cost differences hidden in this product. So I think the biggest issue behind it is the reliability that you have. We are accustomed that movements in the Swiss industry, is it quartz or mechanical, that they'll just run and run and run 20, 30 years, and if they're maintained well, even longer than that. You don't have that reliability the lower the cost, and the reliability is made or guaranteed because of certain manufacturing processes that have been incorporated, learned over a period of 100 to 200 years, that you cannot reverse engineer into a new movement that just started not too long ago. So it's kind of impressive to see from the looks. It looks great, which is a lot of times what you see also on cheaper watches that you purchase. They look great, but once you look at what's inside of them, it doesn't look so good anymore. Having said that, about 5 years ago, I made a test with another movement, which was a movement from the Indochina area, a mechanical movement. It was a copy or a reversed movement from a 2824. And we found out that the reliability of it over a period of about 12 months the failure rate was over 40%. So what we consider a normal failure rate or a good failure rate in a movement is about 2% over the period of the warranty lifetime, which is a year or 2 years. And this, 40%, that basically kills a brand if you have that kind of a defect rate.
And I want to interject quick because this is something everybody has seen. You have, and the thing that kind of makes this not as visible of a problem is most people who buy watches, especially from startup brands, they're not wearing their watch necessarily every day for 12 months. So if you have that watch in rotation, the failure might not come until after the stated warranty, and that's why just because it's a clone of the movement doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the same performance out of the movement.
Correct. So looking at that, it's there's certain failures that we have, and having said that, with our watches that have been in circulation now for a year to 2 years, our failure rate is somewhere around 1%, which and it'll probably go up a little bit more because we're using movements from Sellita, and the failure rate on those movements over a period of 10-15 years, that's what needs to be expected. But all of these failures are easily repairable versus failures that are in inexpensive movements. Well, the easiest thing to do is just replace the movement and then send out a new one, if you can do that. If the quantity of returns is so big, then that's not even that is going to satisfy the customer. So we are determined at all times to use products that have a firm customer feedback of high quality, and being able to do that is something, it's principled from our point of view, as well as from a lot of brands in the Swiss watch industry, that you're principled only using products that satisfy long-term the needs of the customers versus products that are fashionable for half a year to a year and are put in a dustbin or in the closet after that. A couple other things I'd like to share with you. There's on the Seagull movement that you see, which is rather impressive. The finishing of the movement. It's not just with Geneva stripes, blue heated screws. The plating is not a nickel plating. It's a rhodium plating, which high-end movements they have rhodium plating versus nickel plating. The standard movements of 2824 or Sellita SW200, those are nickel plated movements, and if you want to upgrade it to rhodium just so it looks like stainless steel, that's an upcharge as well. So you get that same improvement of look from those movements that are manufactured in the Indochina area. The other thing I must say, it looks from a point of view of just looking at it, you think you have a really quality product here. So
it looks good.
It really looks good. One of the biggest weaknesses of this movement here, when you take the stem mechanism off, you most likely can't put it together anymore, because certain parts of the stem mechanism are made with steel or are not made with normal screws. They're just kind of threaded in there, and hopefully if nobody takes it apart, then it's just going to work because it's not an expensive product. it's not deemed to be taken apart. But if somebody does, then they'll become frustrated quite rapidly. The accuracy of it is nowhere near the accuracy that you have on the Swiss-made movement. Of course, the shock resistance is nowhere near.
Yeah, so there's a clear distinction between the two, and we wanted to share to you because this is another topic I see brought up a lot. Probably one of the most common comparisons I see is the 2824 and the STP. Clones of each other, or the SW200. I think the comparison between the SW200 and the 2824, I think it's widely accepted that the performance is essentially equal to each other. There's not really a difference. So we thought we'd show these two because there's a significant not only price difference but a performance difference. Yet they both look really good. So we kind of wanted to go into that topic behind the construction performance. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
Yep.
Okay. Wait, can you see my legs?
No.
Okay.